Julia on the call?
Yes, I'm here. Brenda.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So she's the box that has Brenda on the bottom.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Julia, for doing all of this. We really appreciate you.
Yes.
Okay. So we want to welcome you all to this morning's Friday VIP job search call. We know that you don't necessarily want to be here, but we're here to support you. We've got a number of people here on the call, including some of our all-stars. As you know, Brenda has been doing these calls every week for the past 3 years. Starting the beginning of August, these calls for the job seekers are going to go just to the first Friday of the month. But if you're checking your emails, you'll see that. And we'd love to have you. We're still here to support you, all of us, in any way that we can. And we're going to start by introducing our all-stars. We've got Sue. If you're an all-star, please, yep. Sue, Joey, Mindy. Am I missing somebody else?
No, I think you're good.
Today? All right. So let's start with Sue, Joey, Mindy, and then back to me.
Thanks. I'm in Depot Bay in Oregon. I have a beautiful view. Like Joey, I'm on vacation, but the internet is unstable. So I'll just say that I'm the mentor with pom-poms, and today my pom-poms are my hands because I packed my traveling pom-poms already. I'm also going to type in, Linda, I'll type in the instructions for new success and questions so we
Perfect.
can get
Thank you.
that. While next, I think it was Mindy, right?
Yes.
Mindy.
Oh, okay, great. So good to see you all today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am going to add to what Linda said about the fabulous First Fridays, which is what I like to call them now, starting in August. Brenda's job seeker group will be on the fabulous First Fridays. The second Friday will be for coaches and consultants. The third Friday is going to be for company pages. And the fourth Friday is for social media managers. So we are going to be here. We're going to continue Fabulous Fridays for sure for job seekers, and love to have you if you need us. We're hoping that you're all going to get to be job winners soon. We're going to go from job seekers to job winners, and then you don't need to come back, but maybe you'll come to the coach's call, or maybe you'll come to the company pages call. Either way, you're always welcome. They're always free, and they're always Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern. I am a career coach. I love to answer questions. I love to support you in any way that I can. Feel free to reach out to me and any of the all-stars. I'm sure we're all happy to help you with any questions you have. I also host a group called the Accelerator Job Seeker Group. It is a private LinkedIn group. If you're interested in joining that group, please drop me a line. I am putting a link into the chat for our monthly call. We have a monthly call every the first Wednesday of every month. We have a tradition that the accelerators alumni, people who were job seekers and now have moved into job winners category, they present one time in the summer. Otherwise, I have different presenters during the year. But during the summer, we like to encourage our job winners to talk about their journey. And so this August 2nd, one of our job seeker alumni, his name is Jeffrey Ullman, who you may remember. He also used to be in the Brenda group, has documented his journey, and he's going to come and speak to us. So I'm going to drop the link into the chat so you can register and join. We're at over 50 now for that group. I have room for some more people, so you're welcome to join us and get to know a little bit about what the job seeker group is about. I'm going to pass the baton to Joey, and happy to have Joey on the call with the rest of us. And Joey, it's your turn.
Thank you, Mindy. Appreciate it. Good morning, all. So my name is Joey Himmelfarb. I am a retired salesperson. Right now I'm an author, a speaker, depending on the hour of the day. And as a retired salesperson, I'm on these calls pretending that we're all on a sales force and that you're all selling yourselves. And I'm going to listen in and pretty much just hopefully hear positive, upbeat comments and attitudes from you. If I don't, I'll chime in and try to bring you back to the light side, if I may. But I'm here to tell you that I know you don't want to be here, but looking for work is selling yourself. And if you've never sold before, I'm happy to give you some tips and techniques and teach you the science and art of selling. So back to Linda.
Thanks. And I'm Linda Brubaker. Thanks, Joey. Thanks, Mindy. Thanks, Sue.
Sure.
One thing I forgot to mention at the very beginning was that this program is being recorded. So if you don't want to be seen on YouTube, you don't want anybody else to know who you are, feel free to turn your camera off or to just put your first name on the screen. We're here to support you in any way that we can. My name is Linda Brubaker, and I'm a job search coach. And I work with people who are in transition, do a lot of work with people trying to help them to not only discover, but showcase their transferable skills to help them find that next forever job. We're all here to support you, and we want to find out all about you as well. So if you're new, please raise your hand. I know that you're putting it in the chat. Okay, we'd like to get you to introduce yourselves a little bit. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're looking for, what your target jobs and target areas are, and let's see whether we can support you. So who's new? Let me see. Mariana, how about you first?
Including one who returned after a long time away. So hopefully that'll, yeah, I think everybody's raised their hand. That's great.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay, so we'll start with, I said Mariana, then we're going to go to Diana, then Tiffany, then Gina.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Mariama Soare. I am based in the Washington, D.C. area, and I am currently looking for either an Agile coach or a Scrum coach. I'm pleased to be here and happy to meet you all.
Is there a specific industry, Mariama?
I am pretty much open. Nonprofit, federal government, education, IT. So I'm pretty open.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What?
Okay.
Good
What?
morning, everyone. Oh,
Ah!
Please, if you're, there we go. Thank you. If you're not
happy
talking about
Friday.
hello, thanks.
I'm Diana Castle. It's been quite some time since I've been on this call, so it's great to see some lovely faces and smiles on this Friday. I am in the suburbs of Philadelphia. I am in transition. I stopped working in December. Long, short story. Mom got ill, then passed, and then I lost my job in January. So it's been an interesting path that I'm navigating. But I'm talent acquisition. That's my backbone. I do have my SHRM certification. I do have had experiences in various HR responsibilities, background, passion for life sciences and healthcare. I've also started off my career in accounting and finance. I've dabbled in a number of things. So I'm open to industries, absolutely. Exploring opportunities at this time. It's been a little bit difficult navigating. Salaries have definitely changed this year. Seasoned individual. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I noticed the salaries they're looking at are more for an entry level person. But anyway, so I just thought I'd share a little bit. Thank you for letting me introduce myself, and I look forward to reconnecting with folks.
Wonderful, thank you. Sorry for your loss, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay. Who's next?
I think you said Thea Watkins was next.
That's fine. Thea,
Hi, everyone. Yes, I can. I hope you can hear me. I'm traveling, so I'm off camera. Thea Watkins, and I'm based in Southbury, Connecticut. I'm looking for a role in change management and leadership, chief of staff in the tri-state area. I have over 20 years experience in financial services, most recently in a broad executive role with Lloyds Banking Group, covering engagement, culture change, transformation, business transformation, and other operational areas. Passionate about creating an inclusive culture where everybody feels valued and can maximize their potential.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
Okay.
And Gina and then TJ.
Thanks for keeping us on track.
Hi, everyone. Gina Patarosi.
Thanks for letting me join today. I have been in recruiting since about 2003. Started off on the agency side and then got into corporate recruiting back in 2009. I've worked in a variety of industries, so I'm open to really any industry. I am from New York, but just this year I relocated to New York because I've had a remote job for the past 3 years. So ideally would like to stay remote. If I can certainly find something here in the South Florida area, I'm in Boca Raton, that would be great. Otherwise, if I have to go back up north, I saved some of my winter boots and sweaters. So I will be open because not working is not an option for me.
Thank you. TJ.
Okay, I'm TJ Hogue, and I'm looking for an entry-level IT help desk position. I'm up in Michigan and looking for remote if possible. It's been a real struggle getting into tech with all the tech layoffs, as you may know.
Yeah, we've seen layoffs, unfortunately, continuing in all sectors. So it is a struggle, but we're all here to help you and to support you. By the way, in terms of that, remember for all of you, introduce yourself in the chat. Whether you're new or whether you've been here for a while, put a quick introduction to yourself, a little bit about what you're looking for and where, and make sure that you include your LinkedIn URL. Connect with each other. That's another way that we can all support one another in this job search journey. Okay. Now what I'd like to do is have you all in the chat, if you've got a success story or a question, please label that in the chat so we can call on you and we'll raise your hands and get you going as well. Please put that all in caps so that we can easily recognize it. So you have a success or you have a question, and let's keep going. And by the way, I'm going to use this as an opportunity today to tell you that in Brenda's terms, there are no problems, no issues, as she was mentioning in terms of technology. These are all our challenges and the learning experiences, and I'm expecting I'm going to have a number of them. So here to support you all, but you can support me too. All right, who's got a question or a success? Okay, Stacy, you've got your hand raised. Stacy Underwood? Yeah.
Sherry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sherry. See the problem with one screen?
Good morning, everybody. It's a wonderful Friday here in Medford, right? How's everybody doing? Well, I presume. So my success is I saw a job posting on LinkedIn and I did the easy apply. And, you know, Zoom, there's goes into la la land, right? So what I did from there was, and I had spent, thank you very much, like an hour crafting the perfect cover letter. And this particular job is really my perfect dream job. It's like the perfect job. So anyway, and I told the person that. The president of the organization happened to have his face and send a message on the LinkedIn post for the job. So when I clicked on message, there he's got the premium version of LinkedIn. So you can't really do that unless you have the premium version. So since I had spent an hour on my cover letter and since it was my perfect dream job, I went ahead and submitted my resume and my cover letter to him, which is something that there's some codicils around when you should do that and when you should not do that. Since his was attached to the job posting, I figured that was good. Anyway, it did turn out well. He responded to me and I've got an interview with him on Monday. And then the other piece of that puzzle is I'm in Brenda's boot camp, which is another whole layer of helping to utilize the power of LinkedIn to search and find a job. So I've already requested him to connect, which he did, and responded to one of his posts, which was actually right in the wheelhouse of a point I was trying to make. So yay LinkedIn training, yay VIP job search.
Perfect. And by the way, here's a quick tip. If you could run into that situation again, Sherry, where he's got LinkedIn Premium, so you can't message him even though it's there, send him the connection request then. And include a little tiny bit of your teaser with your cover letter, even if it's only, you know, really excited by the job. It's right in my wheelhouse. I've sent you my information. Please take a look.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of like I did it a little bit in reverse. So I went to connect with him and I already had sent him a note. And, you know, I just said, hey, you know, let's connect. I'm interested in the job, in the positions. I didn't have the opportunity to, at that point, add my cover letter. So I guess the takeaway is, if that happens to you, check to see if they have the premium version. I did go ahead and get the free version. You know, I've got it for 30 days now. So anyway, I did get the information to him.
Very good. Thank you. Any All-Stars have any points? It looks like Mindy has her hand up.
Yeah, so I want to kind of underscore something that Sherry said. I don't know if you're listening to what she's saying, but she said she started interacting with his posts. That is so critical, to start interacting with the companies that you have targeted. Don't be anonymous. You need to show that you are unique. And when you start interacting with them, either the recruiter or the president, in Sherry's case, it seemed to be the president, but oftentimes the recruiter's name will be right there in the job posting. If they have that there, then start that interaction with them early on. Don't be one of these people who sits in the back seat and says, well, I guess they'll come to my resume. You need to help yourself bring your resume to the front, right? And when you start interacting with either the company and start interacting on their company pages, or interacting with the individuals who are listed there, or even better, if you look in the job list postings, you can see who you're connected with in the company, even if it's second and third level connections. Start connecting with these people and say, hey, this is a company I'd like to be a part of. This is something I believe in, and just start that interaction. It cannot hurt. It can only help. So I just wanted to underscore what she said, make sure that everyone understands that this is something that is, don't be afraid and don't be shy. It's something that will help your growth, absolutely.
As Joey says, we're all selling ourselves. Sue.
And the other thing is,
in a nice way, not in a bad way.
But here's the thing. So here's the thing. So if everybody's paying attention to what Sherry is doing and saying and acting and behaving, you got to be upbeat and positive, right? No one's going to want to talk to you if you're a Debbie Downer or a toxic Tony. You can't approach this process with your tail between your legs and your chin on your chest, moping about how the market is. You know, you listen to the few introductions of the newer people that are here. You heard them. They're upbeat. They're positive. They know not working is not where they want to be, but they know that. But okay, let's move on, right? And move on. And because nobody wants to hear a whiner. Nobody wants to hear somebody who's down in the dumps. You're not going to get through. So good for you, Sherry.
Agreed. Sue.
I'm going to shift the topic a little bit after I celebrate Sherry, because Sherry, you've been really moving along, it seems like, the last couple of weeks, as I recall.
Yes, absolutely. And I went to a networking event last night and actually am getting ready to submit an application to another job that's not posted anywhere. And one of my friends said, oh, you're interested in Doll Tile. I have a very good friend who works there. I just got a text from her. She's like, yes, you have Sherry call me. So, you know, you got to be all about it. You got to be all over it. And, you know, as Joey says, you have some PMA. I happen to be a salesperson, so that's just the way what I live and breathe. And I recommend that everybody else embrace their inner salesperson.
So much, Sherry. All right, so this is Brenda's opportunity. I'm speaking through Brenda to remind you, especially with so many new people, of how you can help us help you find yourself. And in fact, Gina, I hope you don't mind. We went to connect with you. You saw there were messages around the connection. Even when I searched on your full name in the regular LinkedIn search, it didn't come up. And when you just now posted the actual URL, it turns out that your URL says Gina-P. Now there's a way after those numbers and letters, there's a way for you to change that, but it was hard for us to find you. Here's the most important thing when you're sharing your LinkedIn URL. Go to your profile view, your personal profile view, and copy the whole link in your browser address bar. It will look like it just has www, but when you copy it, it puts the HTTPS : / in front of it, which makes it a live link in which people need to be able to connect with you. And that is your true address. Once you learn, and I will try to dig up Brenda's blog post on how to change your URL so it doesn't include the B64-1. Once you do that, that address then will change in what people can look for. So Gina, where you are Gina-P, now if you put Gina-Pederosi, that will find you. I would be able to find you in the search. You didn't come up under just Gina P. There were too many people apparently. So Gina, thank you for letting me use your URL as a way to remind you how to help us help you get found more easily. And that's my help lesson for right now, Linda. Thanks.
That's perfect. Okay. And by the way, if you want to change your URL, you go into Me, View Profile. On the top, it'll say Edit Public Profile and URL on the top right-hand corner. You want to edit your URL, customize your URL. It will pop up. If you've got a lot of string of numbers after your name, just erase them all and click Save, and LinkedIn will tell you whether or not it works. Once you do that, you can then copy it, either from that screen or just go back into Me View Profile and it will show up in your URL bar. Either way it works, but you need to make sure that we can easily find you. And here's a little thing. If you change your URL and you erase all those numbers and we've got your full name up there, it looks like you know what you're doing on LinkedIn, even if you don't. It looks much more professional. So please make sure that you go ahead and change those URLs.
And also, Julia, of course, Julia's the intern working with Brenda under her screen that's open. Julia's already posted those instructions too. So we've got lots of ways for you to
Perfect.
find.
Thank you, Julia. Okay, so now let's go to another question. It looks like Amanda, you've got your hand up. How can we help you?
I think Nicole was first, so I'll let Nicole go.
On my screen, Amanda shows up. Go ahead, Nicole.
So hopefully you can hear me because my sound is acting very wonky today. But I had an interview on Wednesday for a position and it went really, really well. The guy actually got very comfortable with me. I always know it's a good sign if the person starts to loosen their tie. And he got really comfortable and started taking me on a tour of the facility. And he was like, oh man, wait, I have to interview this other guy. And apparently he's in the parking lot. And so then he's like, okay, well, don't look like you've been all interviewed and everything when you go out. Just, look natural. So I'm like, okay. So I go out and everything. And I'm like, wow, that really went really well. Cause he even said during the interview, he's like, I really think you'd be a really good fit for the job. And sure enough, yesterday I got an unofficial offer. My agency contacted me and said that they are going to make an offer. So I'll have paperwork and stuff to do, and then they'll be able to give me the offer in writing. But the good news about this is that instead of it being just a contract, it is contract, but it's a 12-month contract. And then after that, you go direct.
Wow.
And so I'm really excited about it because I have the opportunity to possibly go direct finally. And for those of you that don't know me, I have done back-to-back contract jobs for about 10 years. About 8. Yeah, about 8 years. I've been literally going back-to-back jobs and they're all contracts. So I was pretty excited. I had a feeling that I kind of had it in the bag. It was a little awkward squeezing past the guy because they have like this little doorway and he was looking like, well, where did that woman come from, right? I don't know if he knew that they were interviewing someone else or not for the position. And he's just like, oh, this guy is here. I forgot I have to interview him. And I'm like, oh, this is awkward. So now I'm like trying to slip out. But yeah, but it went really well. I was really, really happy with it. the guy's personality is awesome. That's going to be the manager. Of course, he's retiring in 1 year, but I'm assuming the rest of the team will be okay too. So yeah, definitely really excited about it. And it's like in my pay range, basically, that I usually go for. So yeah.
Super, great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What kind of job is it, Nicole? I missed that. Is that a...
It is actually they're calling it an information researcher role. And, you know, I just recently had a role as a technical writer where I finally got the title of technical writer. So apparently me having that title helped a little bit too, because they were looking for somebody that has a lot of experience with writing, but they also were looking for somebody that apparently had a lot of experience in automotive. And I'm like, well, you know, here I am, I'm automotive, you know. So they had already started looking for another position for me. It was the same agency that I worked in the technical writer job for. And I kind of did do a little leaning, unfortunately, on the recruiter, but he didn't mind it, you know, because he knew I was like really in a hurry to get back to work. And he said, you know, he just communicated with me on a regular basis and that sort of thing. And he found me something really right away. So yeah, it's doing like research and a little bit of technical writing, and then like basically like sparsing through a large amount of information from their main client, which is Nissan, and finding out which parts of that information corresponds to the different departments so that I can actually, you know, divvy it up to everybody, because they're basically sending this huge glob of information, Nissan is apparently, to them, and it's all different spreadsheets and everything. I've already decided that what I'm probably going to do is take some of these spreadsheets and run them into a tracker. And if they have access, then I'll just go ahead and upload it for them that way, because the idea of that many spreadsheets, I can just picture them losing information. I just, you know, I'm really worried about it. And I was telling them that in the meeting. I'm like, well, spreadsheets is not as bad a thing as you think. And even if they don't want to switch from Excel, if you guys have access or anything similar to Access, you can take anything Excel and you can upload it in there. And that's going to help you out, because once you get to 1 million lines in Excel, you literally begin to lose your information. It just starts to erase. And so he's like, you don't say. I was like, oh, but I do, you know. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Linda, can I jump in, Linda?
Yes.
Sure.
So Nicole, I just love your energy. It is so contagious, right? And so you're making, if you look around the screen, everyone's smiling because of the way you come across. So kudos to you for your energy and just what you've done. Just in the short time we know you in this group, it's obvious that you would be an awesome candidate wherever you go. So
you know what, can I tell you one thing? Yeah. I actually have, and this is kind of personal, but I've struggled with depression for a very long time, actually. And I just went through a lot of treatment and in the process, you know, the counseling along with the medication, as opposed to just the medication, because a lot of people just go for just the medication. I did the counseling too. That was the hard part. And that's what got me to the point where I can be like myself. You know what I mean? But yeah, once I was able to get to that point, then I was like, well, I don't want to lose it. You know how it's like, if you use it, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I always kind of put it out there.
Absolutely. So I have a question for you, Nicole. Kudos to you for getting past your depression. Kudos to everyone who's overcome obstacles, because that is critical, right? We talked a lot this week. I did a LinkedIn Live with Kenneth Lang about resilience, right? And Nicole, I think you are the epitome of resilience, overcoming obstacles. But my question to you is, if you have one piece of advice for all the job seekers on this call, what would be your most important thing that you think people should be doing right now?
Okay, this is really important, because this was really important for me. I'm one of those people, I get excited about the idea of something, and then I'm like, I'm going to do this. Then something else comes up, and I'm going to do this. I had to force myself to make a schedule. So what I do automatically anyway, without even thinking about it, is when I wake up after I cut my alarm off on my phone, I automatically go into LinkedIn. It's literally habit at this point. And then I look around and I see if I see any recruiters I haven't connected with, and I send them requests and that sort of thing. Well, I made a schedule that makes me take a certain amount of time to send connection requests, that makes me take a certain amount of time to contact the recruiters I'm already working with. And that was really important because I make it a rule to not deal with just one recruiter. I was dealing with about, by that time, it was up to 4 recruiters, because I like to make sure that I'm getting my name out there. And that way, sometimes something will come up and then they'll remember you because you just got done bugging them. And then they'll, well, not bugging them, but communicating with them. And then, you know, then they'll contact you because of that. So I made a schedule and I made specific time to make myself reach out to the recruiters to follow up and reach out to new people to connect on a regular basis. And I'm sending out at least about 5 to 6 connection requests at least every other day at the least, because that way I can build my network. And I'm meeting a lot of people from all over the country, and people in other states I found are finding roles in Michigan a lot easier. And then they're coming to me and say, oh, you won't believe this. I went to lunch with this guy and he's got a role that's coming up in Michigan and blah, 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 blah. Go to this link, you know? So it's like, yeah, you know, so yeah, that was basically what I ended up having to do. I just had to make a schedule to force myself to do it. So that way I don't get so excited and distracted by stuff that I end up leaving something half done.
I love that. So what I heard you say is you made a schedule, which is critical, right? Because just because we're not in a job doesn't mean we don't have a job to do, which is to find our next job. So
you should treat it like a job anyway. If looking for a job is a job. I continue to get up at 6:30, at 7 at the latest, and you know, and then I get dressed, and then I go ahead and I treat it like a job. So making the schedule made sense because of that, because that's what I do when I'm on a job anyway. And then that way I work it until 12 o'clock. I take a lunch break. I get off my lunch break and then I go back to my job, you know, and that sort of thing. But yeah.
So creating a schedule, amazing. Sending out connection requests, you said every other day, right? Really important. And the 3 Ps, which are positive, professional, and persistent, going after those recruiters, right? And anyone else who can help you. Fabulous. Thank you so much, Nicole. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move along. Nicole. Amanda.
You can call me Nicole. That's fine. She's so
I was just thinking about the fact that I had a coffee chat with Nicole and really enjoyed it. So sorry about that.
No worries at all. You can call me woman if you need to. I am, hold on one sec. I'm going to get my hand lowered. There we go. I am actually, like, this is a surprise to me, but I'm actually nervous telling you guys this, but I don't think it's nerves. I think I'm just like excited and happy and anxious. And I feel like this is the beginning of like a marathon, and I've just got to channel the energy into positivity. But 2 things have happened this week. I have an interview on Monday with the federal government. Yes, I made it past usajobs.gov. If anybody has ever applied to usajobs.gov, somehow after 13 years of attempting here and there, I finally made it past. So I actually have an interview on Monday with, it's for a marine habitat resource specialist. So basically, the money that is coming out of the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act, all of it is starting to get funneled into green and blue positions. So if anybody out there is thinking about a government job, money is going towards those jobs right now. EPA, NOAA, National Marine Fisheries, et cetera, et cetera. Second success is along the lines of what Nicole was talking about. Nicole, Sherry, and I think a couple other people on this call are actually part of Brenda's boot camp, which is a 3-month course in learning how to use LinkedIn. I actually, like Nicole, have a schedule. I have spreadsheets on who I'm connecting with, when we connected, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I challenge myself on a daily basis, and this may be going over the top, but I challenge myself on a daily basis to connect with 3 people who I don't know. And I also want to do at least 1 post or repost and 1 comment each day. Out of the contacts that I made over the last couple of weeks, 3 of them have turned into informational interviews. I had 1 yesterday and I have 1 today. The 1 today is actually with a woman who has the same position as the one I'm interviewing for on Monday. So I'm hoping to find out the nitty gritty, more about the hiring process, that sort of thing. This feels really good, guys. And I will tell you, it took just a little bit of effort on my part to get organized and to kind of get over that activation energy hump to say, okay, Amanda, you're smart enough, you're good enough, you know, you're experienced enough, people will like you. And so I had to just get over that hump, get over that little bit of fear, and then just make those connections. So if anybody wants to contact me, shoot me a DM, shoot me a connection request. Happy to chat. And let's do this, guys. Let's go crush it.
Amanda, thank you for your generosity. That's really well done. And the idea that you stuck with it. USA Jobs is a tough thing to get through. Their application process, for those of you who haven't done it, is incredibly long. It's very different than everybody else's. In fact, the USA Jobs will often hold a workshop or a webinar on how to apply for USA Jobs. And they do that at least once a quarter because they know how onerous the process is, right? So the fact that you were able to stick with it and make it go through, that's fantastic. So congratulations on the interview. And thank you so much for your willingness to be able to share that advice and to share those networking tips with other people. Thank you so much. And congratulations. Keep us posted. We want to hear how it goes. Okay. Do we have any other successes or questions?
I had a question.
Okay, go ahead, David.
The question was, in the next week, I'm going to be attending a very large job fair in Dallas-Fort Worth. There's over 200 companies in there, and they're all the good ones. So do you have a strategy that you would advise on employing, like, you know, arm yourself with resumes, of course, but a way to attack efficiently a very large job fair? You couldn't possibly see them all, but, you know, targeting and any kind of advice like that.
All-Stars, do you want to chime in before I do?
Sure, I'll help David. So David, before I was a career coach, I worked as a recruiter for a temp agency, and I attended probably thousands of job fairs. The people who made an impression were the ones who knew what we did, who knew the kinds of companies that we were supporting. And so the more research you can do before you get to the job fair, the more you can know about specific companies that you're targeting, the better your conversations will be, because you only have a few seconds to make an impression. I assume there'll be many, many people lined up for many, many different opportunities, right? So right. I would target, I don't know, your 10 key companies there, the ones that you really want to go to, know something about them. And then when you get to the top of the line and start speaking to them, obviously be able to have your elevator speech so that they know quickly what value you can provide, but also know something about that company. You need to stand out somehow. And so that's one of the ways to do that, to make sure that you can have a good conversation with them. And maybe you might even know some pain points that you have solved in the past that might be relevant to their pain points.
Good, thank you.
Makes sense?
Yes, and some of the jobs that they are posting are lower level jobs, but I know that the company, the rep there is with HR, so that's the whole big key. So that maybe navigating that is, I could ask you about that as well.
So one of the things that I might do, David, is if they're only coming up with those lower level jobs and you know that the jobs that you want to do are in their ballpark, right?
Right.
You don't know whether or not it's the right recruiter. But when you do your elevator pitch, say, you may not be the right recruiter, but I would really appreciate it if you would pass this along to the person who is. Is there somewhere else that I might be able to get in touch with? The other thing you can do, and I recommend this for any kind of a job fair, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person, is in addition to recognizing in advance who the companies are and targeting them, because you know that you're not going to be able to see everyone, put a little bit of a LinkedIn QR code on your phone so that you can immediately share that with other people. It's not just the recruiters who are there. You're standing in line, you're talking to other people. Use that as another networking opportunity. And whether you're sharing it with a recruiter or you're sharing it with the person who's standing next to you in line, it's another way of broadening your network, and you never know where those are going to go. The other thing is to make sure that you're taking a business card or something away from every interaction and then follow up. If you're meeting a lot of people, then my recommendation, you're getting those business cards, take 4 or 5, walk away for a minute, write a quick note on the back of the card so that you remember what it is you talked about or what you want to get back to them about. And then within a day or two, reach back out to all of those people, or at least the ones that you think are important. You'd be amazed at how few people do that. That will immediately make you stand out. And if you're doing it again to a recruiter, especially if it's one that who was there not advertising the jobs that you want, but you know they're in the company, give them another resume and say, please forward this to the people who might be interested, because these are kinds of jobs. You've got a great company. You had a great presence at the job fair. I was really impressed by the way you presented the company. I'd love to be a part of it. So that's
Wonderful.
another way of doing it.
See, that's the part of what I was thinking about is that recruiter might not be in the same division. You know, the company's so big. So how do I, that's another question about navigating through that person. Like, should I try to link in with them and then?
Absolutely. And then always as part of that, once you've got that connection request, I really enjoyed meeting you at the job fair. You had some great opportunities. Can you point me in the right direction for someone in this area? Okay. Other comments for David? Andy, is your hand up because you have another question or because you've got something that you want to say to David?
Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button.
That's okay.
I have a comment, not for David.
Okay. Mindy, did you have another comment for David?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of underline something that Linda was talking about. David, you'll be shocked to know how few people follow up. And so if you are the guy who does the follow-up, and that goes for thank you notes, it goes for so many different things. People are terrible at following up. And so if you're the person who does the follow-up and you get to connect to even 1 or 2 of those recruiters that you meet, that physical, interaction, that personal connection that you're creating, that's going to help you to stand out. And once you connect with them, then you will be 2nd and 3rd level to so many people that they are connected to. So it's huge value for you to be there in person, but also the following up is critical, absolutely critical.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Is Joey there to slap me around?
Consider yourself virtually slapped. We'll do it for it. Okay. Andy, your turn.
Yeah, so I just have a quick comment because I have an enormously difficult time writing cover letters. Mostly it's just to get started. I can come up with a million ways to procrastinate actually writing the cover letter, make outlines, make bullet points, and never get to the cover letter. And when I discovered ChatGPT, I found out that you can paste your resume, paste the job description, and then ask ChatGPT to write the cover letter. Now, The cover letter that ChatGPT writes is not very good. So it's not something you can actually use. But for me, it gave me a scaffolding of how I could write my own cover letter. And I think it saved me about 2 hours of time when writing a cover letter. So it's just something that I found out and thought it might be helpful to others who may have a difficult time adapting their cover letters. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else have a comment about cover letters? Cover letters are a very controversial subject. I have to be honest, as an internal recruiter, as a hiring manager, as an external recruiter, as a job search coach, I'll tell you that not everybody reads cover letters. But I will tell you that everybody knows that they're there, that you took that added time to do that. If you do a well-written cover letter, and I, by the way, recommend a cover letter each and every time, even if it isn't asked for, because the cover letter gives you an opportunity to really kind of a pre-answer to the questions, why are you for this job, a little bit about your journey, how you got here, what makes you stand out, why you're interested in this role, why you're interested in this company. If all you're using the cover letter for is to repeat what's in your resume, it's useless, my opinion. Because I can read the resume. I want some added information. I use cover letters, read cover letters, advise people to write cover letters that start to introduce you. I don't interview a piece of paper. I don't hire a piece of paper. I interview and hire you. And your cover letter is that opportunity to start putting a little bit of that personality into it. Nicole's shone through in her conversation. Her personality was really strong, it was great. But the more that you can start to demonstrate who you are and why this is the role you want, not just any role, right? I want your cover letter to demonstrate that you want this job in this company, and here's why, not just that you want any job. And I will tell you that for many of us, if we're on the fence as to whether or not we want to talk to you, and you've got a good cover letter, that will push us one way or another. Okay. Mindy, you've got your hand up.
Yes. So I have two comments about cover letters. Number one, yes, some recruiters will not look at them, but other recruiters will not even look at your resume if you don't have one.
Exactly.
So you don't know who you're sending it to. And so I also recommend having a cover letter, and it should be personal, absolutely. But a word of caution about ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful tool, but you must customize it, because ChatGPT is only taking the information you're giving it, and you can have the exact same cover letter coming out that your competition is having. And I've heard from recruiters who said it was funny because I saw two identical cover letters for an accounting position. There's no way they both wrote the exact same cover letter, but ChatGPT might. So yes, use it as I think Andy said, as a scaffolding, as kind of a spark to what you want to write, and then put your personality into it. Make sure that they understand why you'd be a good fit for their company, not for any company, for their specific company.
Exactly.
Those are my 2 cents about cover letters.
Absolutely. And by the way, there are a number of recruiters who are now saying that they can identify that your cover letter comes from ChatGPT, and it's an automatic rejection.
Yeah.
So be careful. Okay. It's a great tool if you want to use it, but personal, you is really what I need. So be very careful with ChatGPT. Other questions or issues about cover letters? I see other hands up. Rob, Tiffany, and Tina, are you asking also about cover letters or something else?
Yes, about cover letter.
Go ahead, Tina.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I found a lot of value with cover letter. And this comes from this standpoint. When I see a job description, I kind of use ChatGPT. What are at least 3 top skills? I'm a project manager by profession. List top 3 skills that this hiring manager will care about this job. So once I have those 3 top skills, I go into my resume, highlight those 3. Then I pick those 3, or even if it's 1 or 2, then I frame my cover letter around those. And I try to weave in some type of star story, not really star story, but a star story that will kind of tell who I am and how I can deliver the requirement of those jobs. Then after doing that, maybe just 1 or 2 paragraphs, then the last paragraph, I will now mention something like, upon reviewing your job description, I see that my past experience aligns with this, the things that I have done that speaks to those 3 or 4 job descriptions. And I've received a lot of commendation from recruiters on that because it kind of stands you out different from what you have on your resume or ties into how they can visualize you in that role. So that's just, then I also use ChatGPT to find out what is their commitment. Just number 1, commitment. What are they committed to? Just weave that in, gives them an idea that I did some research about the company. So however you want to let them know that you know about the company and this is what you're bringing that aligns with the job description, cover letter gives me the freedom, the ability to kind of maneuver that and position myself as that candidate. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know who was next, whether it was Rob or Shelley or TJ. So I'm just going to go because you're on my screen and we're running out of time. I'm going to go TJ, then Rob, then Shelley.
Okay, just a quick thing. I'd use Claude AI to do to draft cover letters, because with this one you can actually upload your whole resume and the whole job description as a document.
Thank you. Just remember our concerns about using ChatGPT of any kind.
Right. I'm just saying it's more accurate and you can more tailor that.
Okay, thank you. All right, Rob and then Shelley.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob. Quick question. Brenda had shared a cover letter format in this group about a month or 2 ago, and I started using it. And it matches basically, you have kind of like a introductory paragraph and then a table. Left side of the table is requirements directly from the job description, and the right side is your experience of how you match that. If you copy all of their job requirements, those cover letters could easily be 2 or 3 pages. What's your recommended length for the cover letter? Because it's hard to keep it to a page and address their requirements, even if you get rid of the frivolous ones like must be a good communicator and work hard. If you just look at the really ones that are really job duty related, still you could easily go into 2 pages, even 3. What's your recommendation?
So, my recommendation, and it may be a contrarian view, is that I don't like that format for a cover letter.
Okay.
Okay, personally. I find it hard to read, and because it's going to be so long, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to go directly to your resume, because your resume should point all of that out to begin with. I really want your cover letter to be the journey, the pre-answer to why me, why this job, why this company. I want it to be able to do that. It should be no more than 2 to 3 short paragraphs. People don't read paragraphs. And if you've got too much information there, you're going to be wasting it unless you're really putting it in a spot where I can find it easily.
Okay.
So cover letters no more than a page. The format that you're talking about is called a T style for a cover letter. It was very popular several years ago, but many hiring managers really don't like it and they bypass it. Your resume should really be able to provide that kind of information for me. But again, that's my contrarian view. If any of the other all-stars want to contradict me, please do.
I think it's a great way to at least capture to show the hiring managers that you've at least read through the requirements, and you can show them that you've done over there what you can do over here. But I agree with Linda. It's got to be personalized. You got to be you. Just be you, right? Just be you. Just let your authentic self shine through and stand out from everybody else who's doing what everybody else is doing. Right? Be unique.
And one of the ways that you can customize and show that you've been able to say, here's what I know what you need, here's what I can do, is by personalizing and really customizing that resume, highlighting the skills that you have that are transferable to their job, talking about these accomplishments that relate to their job, and pulling them out in a way that makes it easy for me, the reader, what I call the dummy on my side of the desk, to actually really see and find it and be able to find it. And I think that if you do that, and then you highlight just one or two things in your cover letter, that works. By the way, I have a tip for your last paragraph of your cover letter. It's going to make it really easy, really short. The last paragraph should always be, I am looking forward to talking with you. The best way to reach me is. It's your soft close. You're selling your product. You want to make sure that they understand, you know that you've got what they need and that they're going to call and you're going to make it easy for them. So it's a very easy close to any kind of a cover letter. I'm looking forward to talking with you. The best way to reach me is. Okay. Mindy, you had your hand up too?
Yeah, it's just more about the T. I mean, if Rob wants to use the T cover letter, just pick out 2 or 3, the top ones that you know are important, and don't go on. I like 1 page also for a cover letter. That was my only comment. You can use it as long as you keep it really short. And I do like ending with a call to action, of course.
Yep.
I think Shelley was next.
I think so too. Go ahead, Shelley.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thanks for this time for a quick question. I was thinking about this conversation of including a resume and cover letter, and a third document that I started including is one with endorsements. So I've taken favorable reviews from like performance evaluations, just comments that relate to the specific job requirements, and include those as client and manager endorsements. And I usually choose about 4 or 5, again, that are custom and related to that particular opening. And I've uploaded those in applications where there's room for a third document. And then I've also included them when recruiters have reached out to me and written a cover letter and a resume and that endorsement file, and provided that to them on either LinkedIn or email. And I've gotten some positive reviews. I just wondered what you think about that and if you advise doing it.
My personal view is that I would not include it as part of your application process. If you want to send it to an outside recruiter who's looking for that added validation, I might. But if you're sending it to me, I would probably not look at it. I would probably bypass it if I'm doing it as part of your application and I'm either the internal recruiter or the hiring manager. At this point, I want to get to know more about you. If I want to take a look at your LinkedIn URL and see those, I might do that. But again, it depends upon the kind of a position and what you're doing. If you're going to do it, I wouldn't do a whole page. I would be very selective and make sure that the ones that you're including are those that are related to the job to which you're applying, not just in general. Okay, and we're going to do this really quickly because we're already past 10 o'clock. So anybody else have another quick comment on that? Okay, we'll go another couple of minutes. By the way, for all of you who said you want to make additional connections, connect with all of us. Okay, we'll send, Julie's going to send a copy of the chat when we're done to everyone who's registered here, or make a copy yourself, but send us all connection requests. And if you want to connect with me, I'm happy to accept it. Just tell me that you were on the call with us this morning. And if you wanted to, there's also a link for a quick coffee chat. I'm happy to do that as well. I know I've done one with Nicole. I did one yesterday with Dana. Okay, so those are always a good way to get to know each other and to really just to get your job search supported as well. Okay, Sandra.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My question is, how do you feel about references? So if a company's not asking for the reference, but you want to show either or. So if they are asking for references, could I give them my references, also what I have on paper, as well as what's on my LinkedIn?
So they're asking for references?
Yes.
As part of the application?
Yes.
Okay. I'm normally in the favor that you don't submit a reference name until you've had a conversation first, because you want to be able to have to prep the references to be your salesperson for that particular job. You want to tell them, if you can, here's the job I'm applying for, here's what their hot buttons are, here's what they're concerned about. Can you speak to that? If you have to give a name, then give the name, but make sure that you prep the name beforehand. Okay. But I'm not in favor, personally, I'm not in favor of you sending written references unless it is specifically required. The only job—
That's what I was wondering, because the application mentioned it, and I was like,
I would, my recommendation is not. If it is a required field, put in the name or put in supplied later and see what happens.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with Linda. As much as they're interviewing you, you're interviewing them. And if you if you interview with them and you walk out and your gut is saying, I don't want to be here, you may have regretted sending your references to this company. So I would agree with Linda.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you all. This has been a great day. Thank you for putting up with my learning experiences as we go along. Reach out to all of us. We're all here to support you. We know you don't want to be here, but we're happy that we're here to help you along your journey. The All-Stars are here to answer any of your questions anytime we can. Remember that, as Brenda says, we're volunteering our time, but if you have needs, we're happy to help you and get you started along your journey. My contact information is in the chat. So is Mindy's, so is Sue's, so is Joey's. Okay, reach out, connect with us. I also put in a quick link, at least for me, in terms of you want to do a coffee chat, that link is there as well. I'm happy to talk with you. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.